Sequence. Okay, gonna be invading very quickly. We'll be able to scout the fact that Highland will be starting at the red side. But yeah, at the very least, you know, if you don't have that ward, Team Sequence just body checked. Just basically checked in, just be there in the presence of the side of BDG. So that's information given over the Team Sequence, and we shall see how Team Sequence will be able to use that information.
Information for Team Sequence, not only that, they were baiting the threat of if you get hit by the stun of the Braum, that's gonna be a net kill. I mean, it's both an AD Vi and Corki. There's a lot of damage to say at the least. Highland, though, is gonna get spotted out by the ward, like you said. And Corki, Phosphorus Bomb, just to kind of even things out. And
Wave clear.
honestly, this should be an even match for this bottom lane. There's going to be a good amount of damage for Sequence. There's going to be an incredible amount of sustain for BDG.
Yeah.
And we'll see who loses their gas a little bit earlier here. But I think it should be... I was going to say it should be Sequence, but when you hit those shots like that, Fizzy Fish, BD Sequence should be looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, the fact that Fizzy Fish on the Nami, well, no pun intended is the name, we'll be able to heal, just provide that amount of sustain to I Am Groot. So as long as BDG remain a good distance, but at the same time, Sequence with Shuriken Flip will be able to land on top of the Highland. Jumps on in instead. Leroy just doing a Kali things. No level 5 yet, so not really much of kill potential right there, but at the same time, Team Sequence looking to be in trouble. Unbreakable on top. Will be able to block as much blows on top of it as Syra is coming in with the big star coming in. Look at it grow so big. The Corki Gatling gun will be able to focus down that Ezreal as Nami is forced to run away.
I mean, Aurelion Sol is there to rotate quickly. Because of his mobility with his third, he can basically slither his way into the lanes and say, I am here. But when you play so close to the mid lane, you're gonna be in a world of hurt because Syra can just rotate so quickly. That's not going to be Guvel to understand that. They're going to be able to respond to that. But speaking of response, this is what I'm talking about. The setup for Hylam and his teammate is just going to be too real. Although giving the Akali the red buff might be a bit too bad of a situation there, as Leroy just wants to pick up the double kill already. Gets the slain. He gets for the 1-for-1 trade, eliminates any possibility of getting the Wee Woo, which is the blue and red buff. But the action is not done just yet, man. One more auto attack should get the stun onto I Am Groot, and damage be done immediately by Sequence as they just show, well, basically a show of force for both top lane and bottom lane.
Yeah, Team Sequence very greedy. That Akali hits level 5 at a clutch moment, decides to jump on top of it. And then I was like, maybe this is a time for, you know, that Akali to go back, right? But no, Akali decides to flash in. Our second R going in as well. We'll be able to pick up the kill, but unfortunately, we'll take that turret shot as well. So a bit of a greedy play. Seems like the Akali will be going for the Gunblade instead of the Lianji's Torment, but you gotta admit, that is a Darius that's going to go into a Triforce. That's going to be more of a damage Darius instead as compared to a Black Cleaver Darius.
I do like it, because the thing about... I think the good thing about Black Cleaver, or sorry, Trinity Force versus the Black Cleaver is you get that extra bit of damage as well. So after your Decimate or after your first ability, the Spin, you're able to hit another attack that is amplified. So compared to the Black Cleaver that allows you to chase and mitigate mitigate your opponent's armor, I do like how the Triforce gives you a bit more dueling capability. Either way, it could have gone well, but also, what does go well with the Black Cleaver, or sorry, with the Trinity Force, is extend or better attack speed, which gives you more stacks in turn, which is pretty nice. Anyways, here's the fight.
Yeah, as Leroy will be jumping on top of Fizzy Fish just a little bit as Team Sequence secures the first Drake. It is an Infernal Drake as BDG works on that turret to kind of equalize, to get that first turret lead, first turret gold lead for the time being. But hey, you gotta admit, it's a bit of mind games happening at the top side, right? Remember what we talked about, like Leroy WR as an Akali, but hold on a second, the package will be used as a big Star Surge coming in to kind of scare away BDG. I Am Groot just watching from afar as he can basically practically do nothing as his turret goes down, unfortunately.
Look at that safety net,
Yeah,
which is the the circle of the light circle there of
Star Surge.
Star Surge,
Yeah.
yeah, of Aurelion Sol. It just makes BDG too honest. They don't want to go inside that. It's just too difficult. In any case, it's fairly even. 2,000 of a gold lead, not really the biggest of leads, but now it is up to that point where first item completion should be done. So we might need to check that scoreboard real quick. ADCs should have their items up by now. There is the Manamune already for the Ezreal, but that will get outweighed by the Trinity Force. This is why Ezreal up against a Corki doesn't really match as well, because you want to get the Manamune first so that you can keep stacking the mana. But you want to get the Trinity Force as quickly as possible so that you don't fall in terms of the damage. But as of the moment, Corki should have a power spike as of now, and Rift Herald is where Sequence wants to go to capitalize on that power spike in terms of the item.
Yeah, Lee Sin is not in the area. I am Groot landing on top of the phase shift. The Mystic Shot as well. Cyrus coming in over for the support. It is the red team that's managed to secure the Rift Herald. No form of response coming out from BDG unless that Lee Sin is just gonna forfeit that Rift Herald instead. Sequence planting that Rift Herald in the mid lane. Lee Sin being at the bottom side, unable to do anything because that Leroy, is under the turret in the safety as BDG is gonna forfeit this mid lane turret once again as Govo forced to watch that turret fall, the same thing as Ezra did.
They're charging in. They're just not leaving any stone unturned. They're just charging right out and want to get as much advantage as possible. Tidal Wave will be used, but it gets stopped by the big wall of Braum. And look at this on the other side of the map. They're being chased down. The flash right in. Jim really wants to net this kill, but that turret will be a safety net for BDG. No more harm will be done by Sequence, although map control, turret control has dropped into the hands of the red side team.
Yeah, Team Sequence, there's no way that BDG can actually do anything at all because, there's the fear, there's that constant threat that Jim is in the vicinity. There's always a constant threat that, Cyrus come in with the big Star Surge that could stun up every single one. BDG kept super, super honest. And I would say that the Ezreal has to farm and use skills as much as possible to stack up that Manamune because Manamune needs time to scale and Corki already having that Triforce going in the BF sword as well. That Corki is gonna do a lot of damage, but then again, you gotta admit that Darius coming in with the Triforce as well. R1 coming on themselves. Leroy and chasing down. The Apprehend comes in. Glacial Fisher used to kind of actually disengage, but unfortunately, Team Sequence, their damage. Oh, Unbreakable absorbing Ezreal's ultimate as well. That's something that BDG cannot afford.
They fought long and hard, but Sequence just survived, and special delivery for fake AD. He's just able to respond quickly and well enough. BDG is starting to lose control of their jungle. They have to fight for this dragon, but there's just no chance for them as both of their duelists or both of their frontliners are starting to just respawn. In any case, that dragon should be easy pickings for Sequence. They got themselves the Infernal, they got themselves the Mountain, and pretty soon there's going to be the Avatar for Sequence. They just got to collect all 4 elements.
Yeah, you were actually mentioning about it, Jerk, right? Everything, something about the Fire Dragon Strikes or something. I was like watching the stream yesterday, I was like laughing out loud at it. But you gotta admit, the fact that Sequence is just taking over the jungle, and look at that. 3 wards at that point. The bottom side is currently very well lit for the side of Sequence. BDG, they're fighting in the dark. They're like, 3 blind mice actually spreading their arms, finding their way, but constantly they're meeting the traps of Sequence because, it's just so hard to fight someone without information, as Sequence will be able to take down the mid lane turret as BDG will once again forfeit any form of defense, and it's very hard for BDG to fight back this time round. So I feel like it's something that they should consider in the next round, but in fact a bit of team fight happening. Tidal Wave will be engaged as well as Team Sequence. They're gonna fight right under the turret. They're gonna take a few turret shots at the same time, but the induction good time. The Apprehend coming in as well, but the spin coming in from the Darius, but the damage from fake AD is true as Cyrex will be able to shred and pick up 3 kills at the mid lane.
If you watched Jujutsu Kaisen, now, for my weebs out there, what's up, weebs? Celestial expansion, Domain expansion, there's just that. It seems like Sequence were starting to fall off. Darius was becoming, the Slamma Jamma, keep on dunking on them, getting the pickoffs one by one, and then for some reason, Aurelion Sol and Fake AD, Cyrus and Fake AD turned on the switch. They started putting them in their own way. Celeste expansion started everything. Phosphorus Bomb came in second, and it just melted BDG. Imagine getting your foot hit by a door opening. That's basically it. That's how BDG felt. And Sequence is here once again for another Star Surge, which should be connecting because it's so damn huge.
Yes, as Lee Sin has no choice but jump right on back. Tidal Wave, mostly more of a disengage, but it is Darius giving the Dunking Donuts at the same time. Fake AD jumping in with the package. The Valkyrie rushing in will be able to melt 2-3 members with the fact of the Gatling gun was activated as Team Sequence. They take that team fight and they won it. And even though, yes, Sarah, he's already activated as the Darius, right? Is starting to pop off, but Sequence has that tremendous amount of lead that, hey, even though that Sarah popped up, it doesn't really matter because Team Sequence, they've got everything they wanted in this game.
That's the thing about the Darius, is that he's only effective if he can stick to a target. And
Yeah.
what's that kind of forcing Sarah to do is always run up. And if he can't, he's basically a non-factor for BDG. He can make so much damage. Granted, that was a connection for Hylim. Okay, we like those. But to finish off, we take those, exactly. To finish off, Sarah has to stick to his targets to be a viable threat. And if he cannot, it just does not work. Having no teammate to help him make that happen is gonna be a tall task for him. And I Am Groot is still not in a position where he can be threatening. Because look at his items. We've already passed like 7 minutes after checking the items once again, and he is still on a Manamune. He's not even done with his Trinity Force. He is not up to the point where he can match up to the Corki, who has, oh my god, Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, and a Triforce as well.
Yeah, it's like what I said, luxury items. Corki is just prancing around with, designer bags, whereas Ezreal is just, completing 2 and is just biting off. And don't forget that Manamune is not even at its maximum form yet. And it's just something that BDG is just lacking in terms of, map pressure that Ezreal should be farming constantly. But something that Sequence was making sure is that Ezreal cannot engage, but there you go. Glacial Fissure will be activated once again as Vi finds Hylim at the back. Gatling gun will be raining love, raining fire all over the board of Lee Sin as Hylim. The Tidal Wave will be used, but that won't be necessary as the members of BDG falls. The Star Surge will be used as well, but it is the Voice of Light, I think, will be able to secure that kill, as well as Sequence is looking super dominating in this game, and, well, probably will end this game right here, right now.
I mean, there's nobody alive, and inhibitor turrets are easy
Pickings.
Lego stacks that you can topple off. And speaking of being toppled off, game number 1, Sequence takes it away. What a good start for them.
Yeah, and it goes to show, right? Remember what we're talking about. Team Sequence looking looking one step closer to actually get their rematch yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was. And look at the